Kansas City Monarchs were the royalty of the Negro Leagues. Today's Royals pay tribute to their great history. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Welcome to Kauffman Stadium, where fans come dressed to the nines to watch the Baltimore Black Sox and the Kansas City Monarchs. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is Rex Hudler. Of course, Kansas City has a rich baseball tradition, and at the very foundation are the Kansas City Monarchs, who won 13 league titles, 2 World Series, and today the Monarchs / the Royals will be wearing the 1924 uniforms, where their star was a guy by the name of Bullet Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Bullet Joe Rogan, he was some kind of bus driver in his day. He could do it all. Talk about the skills. Look at that with the bat, incredible average. And also from the mound, really, you just don't see an athlete like that. He's a modern day Dave Winfield. This guy could do it all. Great to see his numbers.
And because of the efforts of Kansas City Monarchs like Rogan, like Satchel Paige, like Jackie Robinson, they allowed players like Lorenzo Cain to really blossom in the big leagues today.
Yeah, Lorenzo Cain, he's learning more and more about the history, living here in Kansas City, being able to go to the Negro League Museum and learn more about his past. But this kid is really special. The way he plays center field and can move those feet, can't wait to see him in that uniform perform like he can.
He is mighty proud on this day as fans come dressed to the nines to watch the Baltimore Black Sox and the Kansas City Monarchs at the K today.
Kansas City was such here on this Sunday, and Kansas City was such a hotbed for amazing baseball back in that time, with the Kansas City Monarchs and greats like Satchel Paige and Buck O'Neil leading the way. Welcome back here to Kauffman Stadium. It is a salute to the Negro Leagues. It is dressed to the nines, and this is the way folks would come to the ballpark every single Sunday back in that generation. And we were fortunate enough on Hy-Vee Royals Live to be visited by a former Negro Leagues baseball pitcher, Pedro Sierra.
The only thing that I would say the modern baseball players have an advantage because they got better equipment, better things. And now I wonder how would those modern players would fare in our times when you had to. I was just talking to someone today about we play in Kansas City today. Tomorrow we'll be in Miami. The next day we'll come back to Chicago, and sometimes we got to play 2 and 3 games in one day. Okay, and then we play.
And And so that's the comments there. And welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. It is a salute to the Negro Leagues here, and what an honor to be dressed like this, dressed to the nines like they were back in the day that the Negro Leagues played every single Sunday. And we had the honor of catching up with a former Negro Leagues pitcher she was born in Cuba, Pedro Sierra, and we had a chance to visit with him on the pregame show.
The only thing that I would say the modern baseball players have an advantage because they got better equipment, better things. And now I wonder how would those modern players will fare in our times when you had to. I was just talking to someone today about we play in Kansas City today. Tomorrow we'll be in Miami. The next day we'll come back to Chicago, and sometimes we got to play 2 and 3 games in one day. Okay, and then we play from rodeo field to a major league park. But I think that what it didn't make different is that we liked what we were doing. We loved the game.
Now, Pedro Sierra grew up in Cuba. His idols were Bob Feller, Satchel Paige, and Ted Williams. An honor to have him here. James Shields throws the first pitch coming up next.
Afternoon, the Orioles are dressed in the 1929 Baltimore Black Sox uniforms, who were the champions of the American Negro League, and the Royals are dressed in the 1924 Kansas City Monarchs uniform, the Monarchs who were the Negro National League champions in that 24 season. We take the break from black and white back to color, and Royals baseball is brought to you by your Kansas City Chevy dealer. It's Chevy Truck Month. Visit your Kansas City Chevy dealers. By the Missouri Lottery. Try the Missouri Lottery's new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. It's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for baseball. We hope it was like the 1924 season. You went to church this morning and then you came to the ballpark, and we hope there is a great crowd tonight this afternoon, dressed to the nines. And here's the Orioles starting lineup. Markakis to lead things off, then Machado, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, Cruz, Clevenger, Hardy, Lowe, and Jonathan Scope. And on the hill, the guy they call Big Game James, and he loves wearing the uniforms of the 24 Monarchs, Hud.
He sure does. And if he can step up today like he did in his last start on Tuesday night against the best offense in baseball, the Rockies, went 7 strong, heck, they'll take that again from Big Game James. And he's taken the baton from Danny Duffy, and these guys have a tendency to compete. If he can execute his pitches, he'll be good. Got to stay out of the middle of the plate. It's a good hitting team. Around the horn by your Ford Midwest dealers, we're going to highlight Siriaco, who's getting an opportunity to play today. Maybe it's because he's 2 for 3 off of Ubaldo Jimenez. However, Gio needs a little break. Siriaco hopefully can get the job done as well.
Siriaco also brings a level of speed. Johnny Giavotella had greater consistency offensively at Omaha, hitting .352, but Siriaco at .300, and he can rip off a few bases.
Yeah, and that's the key. And we knew last night, in order for them to generate any kind of runs, which they did, they stole a few bases, and that's what they'll need to do tonight, or today.
The umpires will have Corey Blazer behind home plate, Brian Honora as the crew chief at first, Doug Eddings at second, and you have Chris Siegel, who is behind home plate. He tossed Ned Yost last night, and Ned Yost back today, ready to steamroll his team and even this series at 2 wins each. The Royals lost the first 2 games 2-1 and 4-0, and won last night 1-0. Danny Duffy was magnificent, and Wade Davis and Greg Holland did their job in the 8th and 9th. Markakis batting .290. Shields' first pitch of the game is taken for strike 1. Well, the 1929 Baltimore Black Sox were American Negro League champions with a 49-21 record. The 1929 Kansas City Monarchs were Negro National League champions at 62-17. But there was no agreement, Rex, to play a championship game between the 2 league winners in 1929. Maybe that's what today's game is all about.
Well, you know, the history is great and nice, but James Shields wants to get his team over 500. That's what this day's all about. Believe that. And he's got to do it with that good sinking fastball that goes away from left-handers and into righties. He's got an excellent changeup too, and his slider, when he's going southeast and southwest with his movement, is tough for them to square it up. Great changeup.
James pitching very well. He's allowed just 1 run in his last 2 starts, and that covers 14 innings. He has Markakis down in the count 1-2. Shields with 56 strikeouts this year and 16 1/3, and there's a slow roller to Moustakas, who tosses out Markakis 1 down. It was cool when this homestand began, but it warmed up last night, and this is absolutely perfect baseball weather. 71 degrees, a slight breeze out of the south, and sunshine overhead. Manny Machado, good to see him back and healthy. He's one of the bright young stars in the game.
And he's just faced James Shields 3 times. 0 for 3. That wind, you mentioned it, it's slight, but if you get it up there, it's going to help the right-handed pull hitters. It's going out to left field.
Machado swings and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's still trying to get his timing down as he's hitting only .206. But as we told you, 10 to 15 miles an hour. When they took the last wind speed, it was at 11. Got a base hit to right field last night. Machado 4 for 12 in this series. The Orioles offense has been very quiet, just 15 runs in their last 7 games and struggling in the clutch.
But the Birds, they lead Major League Baseball with a 274 batting average on the road this year. So they've had success coming in. But, you know, when you face good pitching, that shuts that offense down. The Rockies found that out.
Up the middle for Machado. Escobar with an attempt, and great pick by Hosmer. What a play all the way around.
I'll tell you, if Escobar stays healthy, he's going to win a Gold Glove. And it's also important that he hits for a good average and he has a good offensive year, because that's attractive. But this guy can make plays that a lot of shortstops can't. What a pickup. And speaking of pickups, Hosmer, the best in the American League at that. Showed it right there, because he does wear the gold. See how he stays low and comes up high? Textbook. Yeah. Teammates appreciate the work. Tipping their cap just like they did back in the day.
That's 3 plays in this Baltimore series where you go, wow, when talking about Escobar. And now Adam Jones, who has always had success against the Royals starter, hitting .310 with a home run in his career. Jones took a mighty rip on a 2-0 count. Adam, a terrific player and the leader in both the clubhouse and on the field. Very demonstrative with his actions. Just low, 3-1. Shields with good command. He's only walked 12 this year in 60 and a third inning starting this game. 3-2. Instead of going changeup, he went with the fastball, and Jones still out in front.
And it's the location that's key there. He's keeping it out of the middle. He's staying away.
Shields' changeup regarded one of the very best in all of baseball.
Jones likes to swing.
And he swings and misses at the fastball at 95 miles an hour. Shields looking like Satchel Paige early.
Yeah, and this crowd, they are geeked because of plays like this and pitching like that.
He will lead things off for Kansas City as we take a look at the Monarchs lineup. It will be Aoki, Escobar, and Hosmer. Butler, Gordon, Salvador Perez back in that lineup, Hud.
Okay, hoping that they can give James Shields a little bit more breathing room, as they've only scored 2 runs in the last 3 games. So look, in order to do that, they've got to figure out Jimenez. A lot of moving parts to Ubaldo. 6'5", 215. He's got an 88 to 91 mile-an-hour fastball. He sinks it. Slider. He's got a finishing pitch that's a split finger, but he's desperately got to get ahead. It's important for him because he'll try to throw that split finger when he's behind in the count and it hangs up in the air. It can be hit.
You saw the numbers on his last 3 starts. Only 1 run allowed in 19 2/3 innings. He does have a complicated delivery, but when he maintains consistency with it, he is a terrific pitcher.
Yeah, he's got to be able to stay within himself, but it's important that he drives down with that front shoulder. He's got to be able to stay on top and drive it down. He is coming on off of an 11 1/3 inning scoreless streak, so he's been pretty good, especially his last outing against the Tigers.
Aoki has a 2-1 count. Nori, the last 2 games, has led off by getting on base, one time with a double last night on an infield hit, stole second and scored on Billy Butler's single, and that was the only run the Royals needed in the 1-0 victory. Nori bunts. Jimenez there. No chance. It's down the line. And Nori's going to stay put at first base. A single for Aoki.
Beautiful touch there. You get a big guy like Ubaldo coming off of that mound trying to make a throw. You know, it's unfortunate the ball didn't go down the line and he didn't throw him a triple there. It was unfortunate for the Monarchs. However, he'll take that bunt base hit any way they can to get something going. You know, Escobar in that number 2 hole. I like Escobar in the 2 hole. He can do a lot. He hits behind runners, especially when Aoki can steal. And Ubaldo Jimenez does not hold runners on all that well. And his catcher, Steve Clevenger, has thrown out just 2 of 17 base runners. So it could be a track meet breaking out here.
Nori stole his 5th last night in the 1st inning. Escobar, a good hit and run guy. In at 3rd is Machado. And Davis having to hold Aoki at first. Aoki goes. The pitch is swung on, hit back to the mound. Only play will be first base, and Escobar does move the runner to second. And if Aoki doesn't go, it would have been a double play.
That's the importance of moving your runners right there. Early in this game, you want to try to keep it alive and try to get on that board first. Give James Shields a little cushion. That has happened to him in his last start for sure. That he got a 3-run lead early and he cruised after that.
The Royals are 15-5 when scoring first, and one of the great baseball writers in Kansas City, Lee Judge, asked Ned Yost before the game, would you try and play little ball early, because just getting the lead with that 15-5 record when you score first? And Ned said not necessarily, because what we're trying to do when you're in a slump is put together multiple run innings. But Eric Hosmer, he's trying to get off the schneid on this homestand, as he's just 2 for 20 on this homestand after a brilliant road trip.
But he probably checked the numbers against Ubaldo Jimenez. 9 for 23, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. That's enough to get your confidence going. But that's before. You got to step in and do it today.
One ball, 2 strikes. Hosmer hit .452 on the trip to San Diego and Seattle. But the middle of the order has not come through on this homestand. Hosmer, Butler, and Gordon just 6 for 56.
See Aoki there looking at Hardy.
Scope has it. He'll throw out Hosmer, and 2 gone. Well, a similar situation like last night with Billy Butler coming up with 2 out. And Billy would nail a single up the middle off starting pitcher Bud Norris, give the Royals a 1-0 lead.
Weather's starting to warm up, and hopefully Billy is too.
I love those helmets with the big M for Monarchs. Monarchs were the longest running franchise in the history of baseball's Negro Leagues. Charter members from 1920 through 1930. Won their first title in 24, and that's the uniforms that the Royals are wearing today.
That last pitch there, Billy Butler hit a homer off of Jimenez when Jimenez was with Cleveland last year.
Behind the count, 0-2.
It's a good ball there. A good pitch he got. He missed.
Came up and in, and the count moves to 1-2 strikes.
He likes to finish guys off with a split finger. He has a couple of wild pitches this year, and Aoki wouldn't mind scoring if he bounced one up there.
Whack to right field, a base hit. Aoki scores, and just like yesterday, Billy Butler has given the Royals a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that's got this crowd worked up. There's a lot of Billy believers in the crowd. And the main thing is that Billy believes he can, and that was a mistake. Right over the middle of the plate. Typically finishes guys off with split fingers, but challenged Billy there, and he lost. Short and compact. Let the ball travel deep towards the catcher's glove. Seeing the ball well early.
Here's Alex Gordon, and question for you, Rex. If Aoki is not on third base, do you think he's more inclined to throw that splitty in the dirt?
Yeah, you know, it's possible, but you know, Clevenger has shown that he's a pretty good catcher behind the plate as far as blocking balls. I think it's important to just concentrate on getting the hitter out with your best pitch. You can't worry about that. You got to throw it, man. It's a big league catcher there.
Here is Gordon, 2 for 18 on this homestand. Batting average of .250. Swings and misses, and the count moves 1-2.
Alex, he's way overdue to hit a long ball. April 9th, last homer.
Up the middle, there's a base hit. Butler will stop at second base. And the Royals with 3 hits and a run in the first inning.
But those kind of swings right there will get you locked for the long ball. You staying, keeping your shoulder in, driving that ball to the opposite field. Nice stroke. Ball's diving down, going away from him. That was that split finger, and he waited. Stayed behind the ball.
So 2 on, 2 out for Salvador Perez. He took yesterday off. Brett Hayes did a fine job catching Duffy, Davis, and Holland. And Salvador was busy charting the game with James Shields for today. Ball 1. Salvador 5 hits on this homestand and 1 against the Orioles. In there, 1-1.
Hey, keep the train rolling while you're hot here with 2 outs. Try to drive that ball up the middle, and if he hangs anything, hit your 5th home run. That'd be a big boost for James Shields.
That will get out of play, and the count moves Jimenez's way. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Love the white hats in the stands. What a day for a giveaway. Those fedoras. Royals fans in blue. It's a good combination.
Rex, what's it like for a fielder to look into the trying to pick the ball out of the air with the white hats?
Center fielders, it could be a challenge.
In the dirt, blocked nicely by Clevenger.
Because, you know, you see all those white hats, that ball comes up, and sometimes you'll miss it by a click, and that's all it takes to get over your head or under your glove.
That was a question brought up by our brilliant cameraman, Ron Swan, a former great player at Washburn. Swung on and missed, so Jimenez strikes out Perez, but Billy Butler gets the job done.
Oh, way to go, Billy. You not only thrilled your family, but you thrilled the multitude here at the K.
Winner, and he is sitting in the Sprint suite today. Congratulations to Jason and his family.
Well, they look happy, don't they?
Indeed, and what a beautiful day to watch baseball game in Kansas City. James Shields works the second inning, faces Chris Davis, Nelson Cruz, and Steve Clevenger.
James Shields checking his defense, seeing that they're all shifted over. On his, Chris Davis is a powerful guy. 4 for 12, 2 home runs out of the 4 off of James in his career.
James opened this homestand with 7 terrific innings against Colorado on Tuesday night. It barely misses outside and low, and he held the top-ranked offense in the major leagues, the Rockies, to just a run on 5 hits with no walks and 8 strikeouts to win 5-1. Davis pulls it to the right. Hosmer is going to win the race to the bag, and there's 1 out. So it's time for our Sprint Framley question of the day. What characteristic of the old style baseball uniforms do you like the most? The baggy uniforms, the high socks, the no names on the back, the wool fabric? Text 4 Sprint at 432-432 and enter A, B, C, or D. Well, the one thing that Buck O'Neill told me back in the day was that he would not choose D, HUD, because he said when it got hot and humid in Kansas City, oh man, that wool would hold on to the sweat, and they would weigh an extra 2 pounds by the end of the game.
I played in those uniforms, and they weren't that bad. But let me tell you, the high socks, that is a characteristic that is missing in today's game. And it's great to see it out there today. Show some stirrups. And that's what they call those socks. Nowadays, the players wear the pants all the way down to the ankles. It's just different. Everything changes in the game and in the world. But I love the socks. Now, there's the old style right there. See, Nelson Cruz, or actually, it's a new style. He's not showing any socks.
Barely missed. Cruz looked back at the umpire, hoping he would call it a ball.
But every Royals player today is showing some black on them socks, and it's a beautiful thing. Pants bloused.
Cruz to center field. Kane broke back, now comes on to make the catch. 5 up, 5 down for Shields. Well, James has been one of the American League's best. 5 wins, tie him for 5th in the American League, while his 2.54 ERA is 10th. He's also 4th in innings pitched and tied for 4th in quality starts with 7.
Guy like Lorenzo Cain in center field. When Cruz takes a full swing like that, a powerful guy, your first step is back because you're thinking he's going to hit it over your head. But you got to quickly pick up that ball and come get it like he did.
Strike 1 to Steve Clevenger. We told you he is playing because of the injury to Matt Wieters, the All-Star. Wieters out because of the elbow injury. And we also understand with Chicago coming into town, the Royals may get a break because Jose Abreu, the great outfielder for first baseman for the Chicago White Sox, power hitter with 15 home runs and 42 RBIs, placed on the disabled list today because of an injured ankle. We will not see Abreu.
Whew, man, that is a big break. That guy's on fire.
Escobar, who looked like Judy Johnson in the first inning, with an easy play here, throws out Steve Clevenger. 1-0 KC.
Judy must have been good.
Photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. On a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Kansas City, Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. And you know, we were talking about the uniforms that they're wearing from the 24 Monarchs team and the 29 Black Sox team. And you can still bid on the special retro jerseys that are being worn by the Royals and Orioles today as we pay tribute to the Negro Leagues. The auction continues through this week, and you'll be able to bid on game-worn autographed jerseys by the biggest stars from both teams. All proceeds of this auction will go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Go to Royals.com/to bid and learn more.
I'd love to have one of them.
You can bid. There's the 1-1 pitch, and Cain swings and fouls it off. I was talking with Lorenzo today about the dress to the 9 occasion, where back in the day in the 1924 seasons, the black churches would push their services up an hour to 9 o'clock so the fans could go to church and then go completely dressed in their Sunday best to watch the Monarchs play. And it became something special to do every single Sunday. And Lorenzo thought that was awesome, and he said, you know, he just marvels reading about the past and what took place in the 20s, 30s, and 40s before Jackie was able to break the color barrier.
He likes that story about Cool Papa Bell you were telling yesterday. And I talked to a friend of mine who had Buck O'Neill tell him the actual real story, and that was the real story. However, there was a slight delay in the light switch when they turned the light off. And Cool Papa Bell, he bet one of his teammates and couldn't figure out who the teammate was, that he could be under the sheets by the time the light out, because there was a little bit of a hitch in the switch or a short. So by the time in his particular hotel room, so when he turned that light off, it was a couple of second delay, and that's how he won the bet.
And the line was from Josh Gibson, who said Cool Papa Bell was so fast he could get out of bed, turn out the lights, and be back under the covers before it got dark.
Right, but a lot of people said, "Well, really?" But there was a little bit of a delay in the light.
That's funny.
Yeah, but his teammate didn't know that, and so that's how he won the bet.
In there, strike three called. So Kane is the first out of the second inning. Of course, Rex, there's also that story about Satchel Paige talking about how fast Cool Papa Bell was. His was even more crazy, where he said Cool Papa was so fast that he hit a line drive by my ear that hit him in the rear end when he slid into second base.
That's crazy.
That's great. Mike Moustakas swings and misses, strike one.
Okay, Lorenzo Cain, he might have struck out there, but he milked 8 pitches from Jimenez,
who's now at 33 and just getting 4 outs. 0-2 to Moose. Mike 1 for 3 last night, lining a base hit to right field in the 7th. Royals offense very quiet all year long. Second to last in runs scored in 42 games, now averaging 3.8 runs per game and only 5 runs in their last 4 games. Who swings and misses at the split finger pitch and strikes out, so 3 in a row for Jimenez.
But for their offense to not be clicking, not too shabby, 21-21. I see a lot of teams with some powerful offenses here that don't have many more wins. Atlanta's leading the East with 22 wins.
Or how about the teams that made the playoffs last year, Rex? The Boston Red Sox won it all. They're 2 games under 500. St. Louis Cardinals played in the World Championship. They won last night, but they're only 23-20. Cincinnati's 3 under. Pittsburgh is 7 under. The Dodgers were beaten 18-7 last night when Kershaw pitched. Machado takes care of Siriaco, and it's a 1-2-3 Jimenez in the second. Satchel Paige, I ain't ever had a job. I just always played baseball. What a wonderful thing. Monarchs with the lead over the Baltimore Black Sox. Steve Physioc, Rex Souther. We're now joined by Bob Kendrick, who is the director of the Negro League Museum. Great to have you here.
Well, man, it's great to be back. What a glorious day for baseball, and what a tremendous celebration this is today.
It really is, and the weather is absolutely perfect. We hope fans went to church and, just like they did back in the 20s, came over to the yard immediately.
Well, you know, I was saying earlier today, I think somewhere old Buck is smiling on us to get us this beautiful day for our annual salute to the Negro Leagues, and to see all these folks wearing their Monarchs fedora, man, this is a sight to behold.
It's wonderful that the Royals organization got on board with all this. Really kind of just started last year, where you guys all came in the pregame show, and then we put our hats on up here, and the next thing you know, look at the fans. They've all got them on.
Yeah.
J.J. Hardy with the base hit. Go ahead, Bob.
And that's what's so special, man. A grassroots effort. Just a grassroots effort. Brad Belden, Brett Parker, and his sister Liz Belden came together with an idea. And they had the idea. They just asked me to come on board with it. And we've been able to kind of take this grassroots effort, and it's grown leaps and bounds. And the club has just been wonderful to embrace what we came up with, and put a lot of promotional muscle behind it. And so who knows, man, I'm hoping that Major League Baseball teams around the country are taking notice of what we're doing here. There's no reason that Dress to the Nines should not become an annual part of the Major League Baseball experience league-wide.
Didn't even think of that. I mean, it's nice here because the museum's here and everything, but you're right. That museum and that quality of play back in that day should be celebrated by all parks.
Oh, absolutely. Because, honestly, they didn't just dress up to go to Negro League games. They dressed up to go to all baseball games. Mm-hmm. But it was just the fact that Negro League baseball early on, they were somewhat relegated to Sundays, because back early on, Major League Baseball didn't play on Sundays. So the Negro League teams were oftentimes renting the ballpark, and so black fans would literally leave church early to head straight to the ballpark dressed to the nines. But, that was the dress-up era, so everybody, no matter where you went, you were dressed up. And so, again, whether you had a Negro League team in your city or not, there's no reason that we can't do this league-wide. And so I'm hoping that people are taking notice to what is happening here in Kansas City, and certainly excited about the fact that if people do it, it emanated in Kansas City.
And, of course, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is not far from where the old Mule Box Stadium, which later became Municipal Stadium.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just literally a stone's throw away. 22nd in Brooklyn, right up the hill from old Arthur Bryant's, and just around the corner from where the museum currently operates. And what I love about the fact is they've got a plaza at 22nd in Brooklyn that is dedicated to all the great players that played there at that old ballpark, including those great Monarch players, but also A's, Chiefs players as well.
David Lowe gets a base hit to right field. Hardy will stop at second base. And James Shields in a bit of trouble here in the third.
Bob, is it fair to ask you who your favorite player was?
Man, you know what? I actually think it changes almost every day. Because one day it's Josh Gibson. I just wish you could. I mean, you just marvel at the power that Gibson had. And here's a catcher, guys, who was hitting .354, lifetime batting average of .354. Head-to-head competition against major leaguers, hit over 400, but also had this tremendous roof-like power. And so, you just marvel at the stories that you hear, the almost mythical-like power that he had.
Like over 800 home runs.
Exactly. Or the speed of Cool Papa Bell, who would have turned 111 yesterday. And I tweeted out earlier yesterday, is stealing allowed in heaven? Because Cool
Ball
Papa
gets away. And Hardy wanders down the line, but the bases will be loaded as Jonathan Scope dropped the bunt and gets a base hit.
Yeah, because somewhere Cool Papa Bell is still stealing bases, and so that he would have been 111 years old. And again, all the legendary stories about how fast he was. I mean, you hear the guy say if he bunted the ball down the left field line and it bounced twice, you had no shot. You had no shot. Whoa. And, of course, Satchel Paige. I mean,
That's my favorite.
I almost was here early enough to see Satchel because he pitched so long.
I know. He broke into the big leagues at the age of 42, a rookie at the age of 42 in 1948. And there are stories about him pitching in his 50s and shutting out a team in Cleveland.
Well, and honestly, guys, he could have well been older than what they claimed that he was. And You know, he to me is one of the most amazing athletes ever, and I'm not sure he gets credit for his athletic ability, because you don't have that kind of longevity without being an athlete. And we're not talking about a jump ball pitcher. We're talking about a power pitcher. And when he pitched here in 1965, when Charlie Finley brings him back to pitch for the A's in 1965, he is reportedly 59 years old at the time.
Exactly.
And he pitches 3 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox, giving up only 1 hit in those 3 innings. It's a great trivia question. Carl Yastrzemski, the only guy to get a hit off of Satchel at age 59. Some say he could have been 69 years old.
Oh.
And when we were doing the All-Star game a couple of years ago, I did an interview with Rico Petrocelli, who was on that 65 Red Sox team. And he says all of them came to the plate hacking away at the old man. They thought they were going to light this old dude up. And he says at that time, Page's fastball was still 86, 87 miles an hour.
Incredible.
With some movement on it, and he was putting it exactly where he wanted to at age 59. I mean, it's absolutely astounding.
It is. I can't even think about it. You know, Jamie Moyer pitched till he was 49, maybe 50 in a Roscoe, some of these guys. But that's just unheard of.
It really is. And again, you know, I emphasize the fact that, you know, we're talking about a guy who had a dominating fastball. He was a pure power pitcher who had control of all of his pitches. And, of course, you know, Satchel had names for all of his pitches. You know, midnight crawler, two-humper, hesitation pitch, and, of course, his famous B-ball. And his B-ball, he was so proud to say, it bees where he wanted to be when he wanted it to be there. And so he named it the B-ball.
They said there were stories of him putting sunflower seeds in the corner of the plate, and he would knock them down.
Absolutely uncanny.
Ground ball past Siriaco into right field. They will score 2 runs, and Baltimore takes a 2-1 lead. The throw to third not in time. And 4 straight hits off James Shields in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, they're getting to him here now. He would have loved to have had an out on that bunt play, though. And that was a big thing right there. I mean, they needed to get an out in a situation. Okay, this is the base hit here. Top spin, 2-hopper through the infield. David Lowe's going to be able to bring that ball, or that run home, no problem. Now, here's the play prior to that. You got to get an out here. There's nobody out. Moose hesitated. That's his play all the way. You got to come and get one for sure. And he rushed the throw, and it was a little bit out of Siriaco's range. You got to get an out for sure there, and he's going to have to really pitch here. And I think this early in the game, he'd just as soon give him that run at third base for a double play here.
And the Royals defense playing that way. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with Bob Kendrick. He's the director of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. You should go visit it. Part of the historic 18th and Vine District. In there. And Bob, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And Bob, the one thing that you talked about was Satchel's age, and he kept on being pestered by reporter after reporter. And finally he answered the question, how old would you be if you didn't
know how old you were?
It's about attitude.
Absolutely. And he would also say that age is simply mind over matter. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know, Satchel was beautiful.
That's
man.
one of my favorite quotes. I use that all the time, my kids and everything. It's mind over matter.
Mind over matter.
Yeah. Hey, what was Buck O'Neill's nickname?
Well, he had a number of them, but of course Satchel nicknamed him Nancy, and of course, you know, he was Buck O'Neill to all of us, but Buck was actually his nickname. You know, his real name was John Jordan, and of course, you know, you get labeled, and he was Buck to all of us. And that's really how he was known. But Satchel nicknamed him Nancy in just a classic story that, you know, if you haven't heard that story, you need to pick up a copy of I Was Right on Time. It is absolutely hilarious. And it's just a beautiful relationship between 2 beautiful people, Buck O'Neill and Satchel Paige.
John Jordan, Buck O'Neill. We love talking to him about the game. 300 seasons. In the air, right field. Aoki drifting back. Catch is made. The run will score, making it 3-1. Baltimore Black Sox. That's the first out of the 3rd inning. And the other thing that we fail to recognize is that even though we didn't have integration after World War II, players like Buck O'Neill served in
absolutely
the services.
Absolutely.
He missed, what, the 43, 44, and 45 seasons?
Yes, serving his country. And I think that's the thing that, again, guys, as we look at this story and how compelling and awe-inspiring the story is, here were men who were fighting for a country that really wasn't fighting for them.
Yes.
And, to hear Buck talk about coming back home and having the POWs treated better than they were, yet they wanted to fight for their country because they were trying to prove that they were as American as anyone. And so you can't help but admire the American spirit that propelled them in their lives, yet none of them, to a man, harbored any bitterness, any ill will toward anyone. And I just find that to be an amazing quality, because if they had been bitter, we all would have said, it's okay, you have every right to be. But none of them would allow their hearts to be hardened by what others had perpetrated against them.
And that's what I loved about the movie 42, because it not only chronicled the life of Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, but Jackie Robinson, the man. And the military man, because he not only faced racial inequality in baseball, but in the services as well. What happened at Fort Riley and Junction City and then down in Texas, you go, this was a man of great character, and yet he was being held back in the military as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, that's why Jackie's story was so important to see on the big screen. We had all read a little bit, and so we knew a little bit about his story. But to see it actually portrayed on the big screen, I think brought an entirely different dimension to Jackie Robinson. You left basically understanding just how courageous Jackie Robinson really was.
Bob, the museum is beautiful, and every guy or person who goes there brings out something different. And for me, it was the lights.
Yeah.
When I went there to visit, I couldn't imagine how they put the lights in the back of the truck and they put it over the outfield fence. To me, I stayed in there for several hours because it was mind-boggling, the history of the game. But the lights, how they put them in the trucks, was unique. Guys couldn't see it first, but
night baseball, which originated in the Negro Leagues 5 years before they were ever played a night game in the Major Leagues, and the Negro Leagues never got credited for it. And J.O. Wilkinson.
And here you are hosting LaTroy
with my guy
Hawkins.
LaTroy. It was great to see Hawk again, man. He, Torrey Hunt, and Jock Jones were from some of the first major leaguers to really start frequenting the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. But, a couple of weeks ago we had the Chiefs secondary, Kansas City Chiefs secondary in. So it's always great to have young athletes experience that. But Wilkie pioneered night baseball 5 years before they did in the major leagues. They were crude, no doubt about it, but portable generated light towers, but they were effective because he mortgaged, he got a $50,000 loan to do that in 1929, and he made his investment back the first year.
Whoa, man, that's a nice investment.
Gordon makes the catch, but Baltimore scores 3 in the third. We'll be back with more with the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Bob Kendrick. McKay. He sat in the same chair year after year, and we have made that a legacy seat for great Kansas Cityans. And Betty Green from Kansas City, she followed the Kansas City A's and the Monarchs before that, but quickly became a bigger fan of the Royals. Two of her sons played in the Royals Academy in the 70s. Throughout the last 50 years, she spent much of her time cooking for the priest at Our Lady and St. Rose Catholic Church and serving as grandma to foster children in Kansas City, Kansas. Thank you very much, Betty Green.
There you go. And Bob,
and she has not missed a radio broadcast since 1969.
Really?
She probably knows Denny Matthews better than anybody in KC.
But you know, this ballpark having that seat, that is quite an honor.
I think it sets us aside from what anybody anywhere else is doing in Major League Baseball. And again, I just have to commend the Royals, Dan Glass, for coming up with a brilliant idea, and obviously for Fox Sports to continue to support that idea to allow Buck's name to be perpetuated, and people who really never got an opportunity to know him will at least have that chance to learn about him through what's happening here. And the fact that that's the sheer joy that the recipients seem to have in sitting in his seat. It is still considered an honor to sit in that seat and to continue to recognize ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things to help others is the absolute best way to remember Buck.
Machado throws out Aoki. Let's take a look at our Toyota League leaders. The most Negro Leagues World Series titles played from 1924 to 27 and 42 to 48. The Chicago American Giants won 4. The Monarchs did win 2, and they had so many storied names. We were talking about Satchel Paige, but the 24 Monarchs team, led by Bullet Joe Rogan, Jose Mendez, and just a fantastic team. And I didn't realize how great Bullet Joe was on both ends,
both sides.
As an offensive player and a pitcher.
You're absolutely right. I mean, you hear about how great Ruth was when he was pitching, and of course, and obviously became this great hitter. Well, Bullet Joe Rogan was same, and actually Rogan was a better pitcher. I mean, Rogan had dynamic stuff, but when he wasn't pitching, he hit cleanup. He led the Negro Leagues in stolen bases when he was 38 years old. I mean, Rogan was one of the greatest baseball players this sport has ever seen, but again, nobody really knows anything about him. He finally got in the Hall of Fame. It took years. Buck got him in the Hall of Fame, and but Rogan was outstanding. And there are a couple of historians who make the case that Rogan could very well be the greatest baseball player ever. When we talk about the double duty of pitching and being this great hitter.
Look at the 24 season, 18-6 as a pitcher, and then a .395 batting average.
Look at the bags, man. That's impressive. I love that.
But that's the beauty of our game. And that's why we're so excited to introduce these men to baseball fans in particular, because you should. No other sport holds to its history the way our sport does, and the Negro Leagues are a very important part not only of baseball history but American history. And unfortunately, it had been kept away from us for so long until the work that we started at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum.
Hosmer pulls it to the right side, and it is a quick 1-2-3 third inning. 3-1. Baltimore leads it. Bob Kendrick, thank you very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bob. Way to make our day, buddy.
Good to see you.
soon to College and King in Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. James Shields back, trying to get back on beam. He faced 8 Baltimore batters in the third and gave up 3 runs.
They were finding some holes. They got a little something going. Might have limited them to a little bit more had they gotten an out at first base on that bunt. But you know, that's all gone now. They're gonna, Royals, seems like they need a GPS to find home plate, Fizz, but they're gonna have to find it.
I know Denny Matthews said before the ball game, he said, here's the way I'd like to celebrate dressed to the nines. I'd like to step on home plate 9 times.
There you go.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Steve Clevenger, who grounded out to short his first time up. And fans, remember, there is still time to bid on the special retro jerseys that are being worn by both teams today. The auction continues through this week, and you'll be able to bid on some of the autographed jerseys as Shields strikes out Clevenger. Jerseys worn by players like Salvador Perez or Alex Gordon or James Shields, Eric Hosmer, and the rest of your favorite Royals. All proceeds of this auction will go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Go to Royals.com/to bid and learn more. Shields with 2 strikeouts in the afternoon. J.J. Hardy started the trouble against James in the third when he singled to right field. There were 2 right-handed batters, Hud, who went the opposite way. One was Hardy. The other was Adam Jones. Hardy with a good rip. And this is a guy still looking for his first home run of the season. Belted 25 last year, and his 77 since the beginning of the 2011 season are the most by any shortstop in baseball. Shields ready with the 2-2 pitch to J.J. Hardy and barely misses inside. 3-2. Royals scored a run in the first. Baltimore all 3 in the third. And Hardy sends it to center field and deep. Up against the wall. He'll have himself a 2-base hit. And he'll stop there.
And that's a wise decision. Escobar would have nailed him. So James Shields finding a little bit too much of the middle of the plate. You can see Lorenzo Cain's playing him to right field. So he had a long run. There's absolutely 0 chance of him messing with that one at all. Now he gets to it and gets the ball right to the cutoff man. That kept Hardy at second base.
So Hardy 2 for 2 today with a single, a double, and now David Lowe, who singled his last time up and scored Baltimore's second run. The Royals had really stifled David for a long time, but Lowe singled the other night, and then he singled his first time up today. He's now 3 for 20 against Royals pitching this year. Lowe tries to bunt. Strike 1.
Gentleman on Dress to the Nines Day got him a souvenir.
Lowe again tries to bunt. Shields will go to first, record the out. Moving to third is Hardy.
David Lowe just wanted to move him over there. He was looking to put that in a better place so he could have got a base hit out of it. You can't bunt that ball back to the pitcher. You got to be able to be a little more fine with that.
Yeah, I understand the situation with nobody out, but with one out, now he's the second out where a ground ball or fly ball can't get the run home with Jonathan Scope coming up.
He was going for a base hit. He just didn't do it right. It's hard to put that where you want it sometimes. I mean, the guy, James Shields, is throwing low 90s. Trying to get a round bat, trying to put that round ball where you want it ain't exactly easy.
And right now, James trying to get his pitches down and unable to do that. One of the great things about Danny Duffy yesterday, when Danny missed, Rex, he missed low.
Yeah, and that is called commanding your pitches down in the zone, and that's exactly what they were looking for him to do. But I don't think they expected him to go that deep into the game.
Scope pops it up into center. Kane, shading his eyes from the sun, makes the catch. The Orioles threaten but do not score. 3-0 ball, 3-1 Baltimore.
This one 3-1. It is dressed to the 9. Salute to the Negro Leagues, and had a chance to talk about Lorenzo Cain. Let's also talk about Adam Jones, and I visited with him this morning, and he was talking about the honor of wearing these uniforms and saying that Jackie Robinson obviously paved the way, but it wasn't just Jackie Robinson. It was all those Negro Leagues, and he said that they endured just awful conditions, poor conditions, and that this cause was so much bigger than just them, than just baseball, and that they sacrificed so players like him could do what they do today. He is forever grateful for that, and we've heard those words so many times on Jackie Robinson Day and now today as we salute the Negro Leagues. And so it's been fun to dress up. I know you guys did that today. Great visit with Bob Kendrick. And here, come on in here, guys. I got to say that our crew is extremely well dressed too. Jonathan Pope dressed to the 9s, and he is running around this ballpark nonstop trying to get the great shots. And then Randy here takes care of our audio. He also looks like my bodyguard today, or perhaps one of the Blues Brothers. But I will say that these guys have put in some great effort and got some pictures earlier in the day too, because it's not just those two. Want to share our guys getting into the swing of things with dressed to the 9s. There's our director on the right, Steve Kurtenbach, and on the left, we'll show you here after this pitch. All right, dressed to the 9s, Steve Kurtenbach, director on the right, and Brian Shapiro, pregame, postgame producer for Royals Live on the left. Now there's the man we like to call Fight Club, Kelly Myers. He's got his own kind of version of a tux there. Love the creativity. And then Jeff Montgomery, Bob Kendrick, and I wearing the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, or Negro Leagues socks. And so those were looking pretty good. And fun to be all dressed up here today, and I know you guys are looking dapper as well.
Absolutely, and we're so delighted to hear that Sam Abramson dressed up as Harley in the dress to the nines from the 1920 era.
That's right. He got some saddlebags on them.
Exactly. It is a glorious afternoon at the K, and Royals fans hoping their Monarchs could come back. They led 1-0. Now they're trailing 3-1 as Jimenez has settled down. He's retired 7 straight since the base hit by Alex in the first. Now in danger of walking Billy Butler. Billy knocked in the Royal run yesterday and the Royal run today.
Oh, Baldo didn't pitch a lot in the offseason. He was a late sign.
And he blows it right by Billy Butler out in front of that off-speed pitch.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And last night was one of the most exciting games of the year, and along with that was one of the best catches from Gordon all year. That ball would have landed for a double and would have been the first hit off Duffy. Instead, Gordo says, you know what, I got to get my uniform dirty and I got to help my guy out. And Duffy loved it. So did the crowd.
And Alex was on our pregame show, and he talked about when a guy has a no-hitter, he said everybody on the diamond wants to help him out.
Like the 5th inning, you start thinking, hey, I'm going to put my body on the line to, you know, try to preserve this for Duffy, whoever's pitching. So, you know, I guarantee all 8 position players are thinking the same thing.
Whoa, starting pitchers love to hear a quote like that from one of their players. Put your body on the line. Now, I'm sure Alex's wife and maybe his mother and family didn't really want to hear that, but if you're a pitcher, you love it.
And when you see catches like that, Rex, you're thinking, uh-oh, he might get a no-hitter. You know, the line out
right
to Mike Moustakas the inning before.
Right.
Then Alex lays out and takes a base hit away from Markakis.
I was talking with Kansas City Royals owner David Glass before the game, and he thought the way I thought the most impressive thing for him, Mr. Glass, was the composure that Duffy showed, his mound presence.
A blooper to center field. That will drop for Gordon. He is 2 for 2.
And you know, that mound presence is going to take Duffy a long way. He's got the stuff, but in order to control his emotions, I mean, to execute those pitches, he's got to control those emotions, and he did. You can see how he's on the side of the ball. That's a little two-seamer. It stayed up in the zone.
And there were times yesterday that Danny touched 94, 95 miles an hour, but when he was in between 91 and 93, he was absolutely commanding the outside and inside corners down.
He's looking for outs, and that's part of the maturity of him.
No walks, 2 strikeouts. Salvador Perez, he represents the tying run here in the 4th. He went really fooled on that off-speed pitch thrown by Jimenez.
Salvi wants to focus on his pitch. That's something that's up in the zone, and Jimenez will give him one. He's got to be patient. He's got some pop. I'd like to see him jump on one.
The Royals have been running a lot on the Orioles and also on the Rockies. Kansas City with 30 stolen bases. Now they're 5th in the American League.
And now would be a good time. Salvi's grounded into 8 double plays.
Sends that one up the middle. Speared by Scope. Got him. Ned Yost may complain about this one, because it looked like Gordon may have gotten there in time. Ned is coming out. Don Wakamatsu on the phone.
Okay, Walk.
With the guys underneath taking a look at the video.
Yeah, Walk already knows Okay, let's see him get that hand in there. Beautiful. That's going to be overturned. Love that.
They will check it.
Yeah, Alex got in there. He started his slide late, which is pretty good. Also dangerous for your fingers, but his hands up, fingers are up, and that's important. I want to jam those babies.
The ball must touch the glove before Gordon's hand reaches the bag. Now the crowd is roaring because they're showing the replay on the scoreboard in center field, and they just saw Alex get in.
Yeah, see that's look at Alex. He's watching it too. That's one of the things that has changed with this replay rule is that they show them the replays on the board now. They never used to do that to show an umpire up.
But because all of the decisions are not made here, they're made back in New York City, where they have the command center. There's a umpire back in New York City going over all of the replays, and he will make the decision.
There's a whole umpiring crew that's in there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys in there. They all rotate.
And what they're trying to do is just get it right. Their goal is to do it within 90 seconds. This may be taking a little longer.
And I don't know why.
The inning started with Butler striking out Gordon single to center, and now Perez looks like he may get an infield hit. Safe. 2 on, 1 out. Gordon back to second. The call is officially overturned as Alex Gordon safe at second. That gives a infield hit to Salvador Perez.
Ned is now 5-2 on challenges.
Well, Ned was on the top step of that dugout. He was waiting for Walk to get back from the phone and say thumbs up, thumbs down, and they sent him out there. And Ned went out and visited not only with second base umpire Doug Eddings, but crew chief Brian Honora. There's a check swing. Strike one. It took a minute 29 for the call to be overturned.
And one of the men responsible for that is last year's bullpen catcher Billy Duplessis. He's inside now. He's doing a great job to help out Wakamatsu and Ned. Okay, now it's up to Lorenzo Cain to have a productive at bat here. Moose is on deck. They've got to be able to get a run home.
Up the middle, into center field. Gordon coming around third. He will score. The Royals within 1.
Okay, the offense in this inning are starting to square up Ubaldo Jimenez. All 3 of those hits right up the middle. Again, it's that 2-seamer that's not working for him. It's staying pretty straight. Right over the middle, you can't miss those, and he didn't. Crucial time. Everything's contagious, and all it takes is one, and that might have been the one to get him going.
The Royals started this homestand with a sweep of the Colorado Rockies, and Mike Moustakas drove in all 3 runs of their second night victory. Pulls this one foul as Jimenez starts him off speed away.
Hey, Moose wants to focus to the opposite field, look for something he can drive that way, and then that pitch inside he'll react to naturally. I can see Moose with a good solid hit to left field.
He had a good rip on that pitch that was up for him, but now finds himself down in the count 0-2, and Jimenez really worked him off speed with that splitty last time up and struck him out.
Relax those hands, and you can react quicker.
He chases a bad ball well away and out of the strike zone and strikes out. Number 5 for Jimenez. Fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. So it's up to Pedro Siriaco to try and tie this game, and he is looking for his first hit this year. He's a career .277 hitter. Last year with 3 different organizations. Started 2013 with the Red Sox, then sent to San Diego. They released him and picked up by Kansas City on June 16th, who immediately sent him to Omaha. They did recall him in September.
You might see him a little bit more playing time if he can come up with a big hit.
Indeed, because he has that one quality that Gio Patella does not have, and that is excellent speed. His best year was 2012 with the Red Sox when he hit .293, but also stole 16 bases that year. And the other thing, Rex, he's very versatile. He's played 7 positions. The only positions he has not played are pitcher and catcher. Down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Swinging one of those, you might get another one.
Bloop to left. On comes low. It stays up for him. He'll make the catch, and that will end the Royal 4th. They do get a run and close within 1 of Baltimore.
Game break. Let's take a look back at that play. Last half inning, initially ruled an out. Instant replay showed that indeed he was safe. Ned Yost came out and asked for the replay. Brian O'Nora signals safe indeed. All was well taken care of. And that call, as Hud and Fizz mentioned, coming out of the replay center in New York. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, because Hub was saying that there are a bunch of guys that are watching that game, a bunch of regular umpires that are out there. They're on shifts and they rotate through New York. And the way the setup goes, guys, is you have 2 umpiring crews, so 8 umpires total that are in there watching all of the games. They're each assigned to 2 games. If for some reason multiple calls were to come up in the 2 games they're watching, it would get passed on to somebody else. Nice quick out there for James Shields. But there's also been some trickle-down effect, or ripple effect, if you will, because the one thing we don't hear about too much is umpires that get hurt. That's not a publicized DL, or go on vacation. and we've always seen minor league guys called up. Again, it's not really publicized. Well, now, because you're taking 8 umpires out of the mix on an everyday basis, all of those umpires needed to be replaced. We're seeing a lot more names that we have never seen before, like Chris Siegel last night, which means a lot of minor league guys that might not have had promotions in the past needing to fill in on a more regular basis and perhaps more calls like we saw last night.
Siegel, of course, throwing out the Royals' Ned Yost for arguing a ball in the dirt, and when we showed the replay, Ned was correct. Siegel was the man who made the error, and here's a base hit to left field by Manny Machado, who's on for the first time. But those are the tough calls. As you said, Hud, when it hit the plate, it may have sounded like a foul tip.
Yeah, but it took a lot of courage for Siegel to make that play. I mean, to make that call, because no one would have said anything had he just struck him out. I mean, Jones, he knew it, but just made Greg Holland look even better. He had to strike him out twice in the inning in the same at bat. Ned, I said, Ned, what did you think about that? He goes, it took a lot of courage for him to call that. And I said, man, that was nice to see you get tossed. And he goes, oh, really? You want to pay my fine? I said, well, no, not really.
And a little excuse me, and Hosmer goes to second. They'll get 1. That's all they'll get. Jones safe at first base.
That's a good decision. Get that lead runner.
But Ned also praised the work of Brett Hayes, who did a great job blocking balls in the dirt, and particularly in that 9th inning when Holland was not commanding his fastball as well as we've seen it in the past and needed to bury some splitties or sliders in the dirt, which he did, and nobody advanced because Hayes blocked it beautifully.
Yeah, he had a great game. It's good for his confidence. And that's the thing about playing on both sides of the ball, something a designated hitter doesn't have. You know, Billy Butler, he's got to be able to hit to help the team. But Hayes still hasn't gotten a hit yet this year, but he played such a huge role in that win. He can feel good about himself.
And the ball hit Chris Davis. So 2 on with 2 out for Nelson Cruz, and this is an important time after the Royals scored a run for James to keep the Baltimore Black Sox offense quiet.
That's the 6th hit batter of the year by James. That leads the staff.
How about that? Corey Blazer came out because James has turned his back to home plate, and he was just making sure his shirt was tucked in properly, but Blazer wanted to make sure he wasn't manipulating the baseball at all. Took a look at it, looked good, gave it right back to him.
Yeah, well, you know, he's got Doug Eddings, his second base umpire, right there staring right at him. So
he still came out and asked to take a look at the baseball.
As he's giving Salvia a little breather, he caught some of that too.
Here is Nelson Cruz, who leads the team in RBIs with 37.
Blazer, he's just in his 3rd year. He's a young guy. He's worked 346 major league games entering this season.
What might be this conversation between Shields and Salvador?
It's keep the ball down on this guy. Don't let him get a hold of one, especially with that wind gushing out the left field. He don't need a wind. So be really careful.
Swung on and missed.
Keep that ball away from him.
Shields had 1 rough inning. It was the 3rd. Faced 8 batters, gave up all 3 runs. Aoki's right there, makes the catch. Good job by James. A shutout 5th. We head to the bottom of number 5 at the K. Baltimore 3, Royals 1. is bigger and the prices are lower at Thoroughbred Ford. Here at the K, there's a look at George Brett. Little leg kick, getting that weight shift together and knocking in over 3,000 hits as a Royal.
More hits than any third baseman in the history of baseball.
He was special, leading this team to their World Championship in '85. Now we go to Ubaldo Jimenez to face Aoki, Escobar, and Hosmer. Aoki reached on an infield hit in the first inning and scored on Billy Butler's line single to right field and grounded out to third his last time up. Two and one. Jimenez has not walked a man, and there are times where he can get out of whack and walk a lot. 3-1, but in his last 3 starts, 4 including this one, only 5 walks while he struck out 25, and that is a tremendous ratio. Walked him on 5 pitches. Good start for KC. The tying run is on with nobody out. Earlier this afternoon, we asked the Sprint family question of the day: what characteristics of the old style uniforms do you like the most? And 65% agree with you, Hud. They love the high socks.
Yeah, that's a trademark. And it's a great look.
Here is Escobar. Once again, we talk about the hit and run possibility. Esky is grounded out to the mound and popped up to second.
Got to do those things. When you don't have a lot of power, you got to generate some runs.
Aoki bluffed the move and then came back, and Escobar took strike 1. Aoki does that more than any major leaguer I know, where he'll bluff moves all the time at first base. He'll take 2 hard steps and then put the brakes on. Escobar way out in front of the off-speed pitch, and he's in the hole, 0-2. And a reminder that these Monarchs uniforms will be autographed by Royals, and you can go online and bid for them. All you have to do is go to Royals.com/NLBM.
And they are like right off the field with the actual dirt as well. Ooh, man.
They'll have autographed uniforms by the Baltimore Black Sox. Obviously, autographed unis by game-worn uniforms by the Kansas City Monarchs. That would look great in your den, or in your case, your trophy room.
Or why not just wear it?
Yeah.
You can wear them on special occasions or any occasion.
To the ballpark. Royals still don't have Omar Infante ready, although he's getting closer and closer. I understand he took 30 swings off the tee. 30 swings of soft toss yesterday. Fouled back.
And that just wasn't a doinker swing there. He's looking to hit one in the gap with that stroke.
Maybe get it up in that wind, because it's beginning to roar out towards left about 15-20 miles an hour. He struck him out. That's 6 this afternoon for Jimenez.
See how he split his fingers on that baseball? It comes out and it drops down. It looks like a fastball to a hitter. It's a filthy pitch when it's executed just like that. It starts out about knee high. If it starts out belt high, it's going to be a good pitch to hit.
Eric Hosmer takes strike one, and once again he does not get started with a fastball. And they need this guy in the number 3 spot. He had that great road trip, 8 RBIs, but none since. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a waiting game. You got to wait for your pitch. Hosmer, plenty of power. Fans would love to see him start getting that home run ball going. Anytime, weather's warm.
He only had 1 at this point last year and 1 all the way up to June 1st, and then hit 16 after that. That 1 home run came last week in San Diego, barely cleared the wall in right field. In there, strike 3 called. And Jimenez dealing on Escobar and Hosmer after he walked Aoki.
Hosmer was looking for a split finger, maybe an off-speed pitch, and that surprised him.
They have not sent Aoki yet. Billy has driven in a run. He now has 16 this year. And that is hammered foul down the left field line. Orioles infield playing Butler with a slight pull. Billy takes outside and low, 1-1.
Just 6 doubles for Billy, so his extra base hitting has not happened. And if he could find a gap here, probably could score Aoki from first.
Aoki goes. The pitch is swung on and hit up the middle. Nori will make it to third. And Billy has 2 hits and 3 at bats.
Perfect spot. Aoki was able to see that right in front of him. And Dale Swaim, he wants that runner to keep coming through to him, as Aoki did, and then he said, all right, pick up the ball there. But if the cutoff man drops it, he's able to score.
The Orioles with 3 runs on 7 hits. The Royals with 2 runs on 7 hits. Gordon has 2 of the Royal hits, both singles to center field. And now they have Hardy shading more up the middle. Ball 1. The inning started with Aoki walking on 5 pitches, but Jimenez bared down, struck out Escobar and Hosmer, and then Billy singled up the middle. That's belted deep to right, away back and gone.
There it is. Nick Markakis might have some tracer burns on his face as that ball left in a hurry. It was a laser liner. Tried to sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry rat on a day where he's been perfect at the plate. Can't do it. 3 for 3 with a big fly. That last home run by Gordon was April 9th. That was 134 at-bats before that baby left in a heartbeat.
He got the Royals their first home run of the year, and this one mighty important because it erases a 1-run deficit and puts the Royals up by 2 over Baltimore. Salvador Perez rolls it foul.
Okay, let's check the hands out there of the fans. There it is. Nice glove work, sir. I can't believe that didn't hurt your palm. That baby was crushed. Congratulations on that grab.
Great crowd on a beautiful afternoon at the K. Monarchs trying to take the Black Sox of Baltimore. Salvador Perez with a soft line drive struck to Jonathan Scope, but the damage done by Alex Gordon. 3 for 3 on the day and a 3-run bomb to right.
Oh, nice and easy.
A 3 for 3 in the day, and the Royals take a 5-3 lead over the Baltimore Orioles. Steve Pizziak, Rex Hudler. We're now joined by Hall of Fame broadcaster Denny Matthews from the radio side. And sir, I love your tie. I mean, you are so 1924.
46th year, Denny. Did you ever broadcast into one of those microphones right there?
No, but I have one at home. But it doesn't work. That's okay. I don't either.
This one actually works.
We're trying to get the tie around the sunglasses.
Hi, anybody. What do you think?
Of course, that's the name of your book.
Hi, anybody.
I have it, and
Buddy
I've read it.
Blattner always said that. That was one of his things. What do you think, Rex?
Love it, man. It's working.
Yeah, totally.
Anything you wear works, Denny.
Sometimes.
Well, I've got to ask you, the home run by Alex Gordon. The home runs always seem to be a big exhale, particularly when you're not hitting many.
Yeah, that thing was squared up. You know, it was really a sinking line drive. Overspin.
He had a little topspin on it.
Yeah, I did.
Escobar will take care of Steve Clevenger, and there's one out. And as we take a look at the Academy Sports and Outdoors about Alex Gordon, 12 home runs, 32 RBIs in his career against Baltimore. That's the most against any non-American League Central opponent. And this is what you're talking about, Denny. A little topspin.
He really got on it. And it was actually a sinker. He got it over the bullpen off the facade of the stands out there that he knew. He knew it was gone. And Alex having a good day, isn't he? 3 for 3 now.
Perfect. That's what they're looking for, a bus driver. Somebody to make the action happen.
Danny, James Shields, such a competitive pitcher, and he's one of those guys who can get off for one inning, like when he faced 8 batters in the 3rd inning and gave up 3 runs, and he made the adjustment to get the ball down.
There aren't many pitchers in the big leagues right now who have as good a damage control as Shields. It's a mindset.
That ball shot to the gap, and J.J. Hardy continues his fine success against the Royals this year as he's on with 1 out.
Yeah, you have to be mentally tough as a pitcher. You can't let things bother you. Now, some of the balls that were hit in the inning in which he gave up the runs were just rollers through. So a younger pitcher, maybe less experienced, would be frustrated. He would fight himself, as in my day, and get into that bad mindset. Shields, when he has adversity, I think it makes him tougher.
Do you think he has a little bit of Jake Peavy in him? Because Jake is a pitcher that you appreciate, and they both pitch with a lot of fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Lowe pops it up. Long run for Moustakas and for Gordon, and he gets there and then slams into the wall.
Well, you know, you just hold your breath every time he gets near there going 100 miles an hour. Best left fielder in the American League for sure, and maybe in all of baseball. Puts his body on the line. He said it before the game that he would do it for a pitcher any time, any day, and there it is. That's a big out.
And you guys remember when Alex first started on the big league level, he was injury prone. He had some injuries in his first couple of years. One came on a head first slide, one came on a defensive play, and it just seemed like Alex might be one of those guys who's going to be hurt all the time. Well, that's behind him. He hasn't been injured. He's been a regular guy for a long time now.
Slow roller to Escobar, up with it quickly, and his toss is in time. The Royals continue to wow defensively. Gordon and Escobar in this inning helping out James Shields.
Go ahead and drive the bus, Alex.
Score of 5-3. That young lady enjoying dressed to the nines. And if you're coming out of the K for the Baltimore homestand, look for the Kia display at gates B and D and register for your chance to win Diamond Club box tickets and the grand prize of throwing out the first pitch on September 21st. Well, the 6th inning is also our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Lyle Brailsford from Lee's Summit. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Lyle will win $1,100, but if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Lyle will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Denny Matthews in the 6th inning. The Hall of Famer joins us. And Denny, Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. And I was talking with Lorenzo about old Milwaukee Field, Municipal Stadium. You broadcast there back in 1969, and can you tell the fans what that was like?
Typical old style ballpark of the 30s, 40s, 50s. But a lot of those places, they put the upper deck on later after the original ballpark was pretty well established. Well, they did that to Wrigley Field. Lorenzo takes inside. You know, Fenway Park does not have an upper deck, and you know why? Because it's built on swampland.
Right.
That's what fens Fenway. The fens are low-lying swamplands, and so they couldn't build an upper deck because the ballpark would have sunk right into the swamp, so to speak. So Fenway has always been single-decked. But a lot of the older ballparks, they put on the upper deck after they were transitioned into Major League, and that happened in Kansas City.
We've got a new pitcher as well, Brad Brock, taking over for Jimenez, and pitch is low and the count is full, 3-2. But you told me you remembered about the fans just knocking the tin roof that was at Municipal Stadium, and that had to be bothersome, but more so for the opponents.
Yeah, the radio booth was covered by a tin roof, and I'll never forget Bat Day.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, double header. Yeah, Buddy and I.
Double headache.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, Buddy and I and Ed Shepard left the booth with massive headaches.
And here is a walk to Lorenzo Cain, and we just saw Ryan Lefebvre, who obviously gave his tie on loan to you, Mr. Matthews, because Ryan came into this morning's booth.
No, come on, really?
He wanted to make sure you were dressed to the nines when you came on TV.
We have blown our cover.
That's okay.
What do you think?
Sometimes the TV will do that, Denny, but you know, we're happy to have you over here. It doesn't matter what you wear. We're just thrilled to have you in the booth anytime.
I must say this, Ryan did a lousy job of tying this tie.
You don't wear many anymore, do you?
Sometimes I do, to get dressed up.
There you go.
If I want to impress something.
Well, here we go. Moving along to Mike Moustakas after Cain walked.
Let's see if Ned will start moving Brock. You remember yesterday the keys to the game for us, Denny, and you're never wrong. You said they've got to be able to stimulate some kind of offense by stealing, moving those runners. Ripped off a couple of bases, and here they're trying to do the same thing, get some action going.
Lead by 2, why not?
And even with a guy like Moose, it's not a bad opportunity. That's going to give him an opportunity to swing at any pitch. That particular pitch on a hit and run, sometimes it'll help you get out of a little funk. As we see that offense now, or the defense behind him, starting to shift over to play Moose to pull. I think it opens up more holes for him.
I agree.
Moustakas with a high fly ball, right center field. Adam Jones will pull it down, and Cain back to first base.
When you play hit and run, when you call for a hit and run, the hitter is obviously obligated to make contact. If you're in a slump, putting a hit and run on puts you in a different mindset as a hitter. Now you're not thinking so much about maybe what pitch it is, your slump. You're thinking, I've got to make contact to protect the runner going from first to second. And so a lot of times that'll bring a hitter right out of a slump. And many hitters have said that. So you're ahead 5-3. It's middle portion of the game. What to lose?
Right here. Good opportunity with one out.
Siriaco takes a strike.
Brock is an extreme crossfire type of pitcher. Can be tough on righties. He comes to, a 3/4 sidearm. He throws hard. He's got that hard bearing sinker that comes in. You don't necessarily have to put the ball to the right side. You can also pull him on a hit and run. Just a little breaking ball.
And normally, and I know through the years you've been at the plate where there's been a hit and run called, you control your swing rather than take a mighty gash at the pitch, whatever it is. It's a more controlled swing because you know you have to make contact.
It shortens your swing up, and you just want to play pepper, even though that word pepper it's not used as much anymore. You don't see a lot of players, and even kids on the school ground playing pepper. That's one guy and maybe 2 or 3 other players and fielders maybe 10, 15 feet away throwing the ball, and you just show back control. And that's an art that's lost in today's modern game, if you ask me.
They said Siriaco went, so now he's down in the count 1-2. And I was telling you guys the other day, Sparky Anderson, Hall of Fame manager, said when a guy was slumping, he would put it on more often to take the pressure off the guy slumping and put it on the manager, saying, hey, if you make an out, that's on me. Ground ball third. They've got one. Safe at first is Siriaco, 2 out. Now Denny with Siriaco on, very good speed there, 2 out, and a guy who's mainly a singles hitter. Would you be surprised if Siriaco did not go?
I would.
Got to go.
Even if he's out at second, you're leading off the next half inning with your leadoff man. So nothing ventured, nothing gained in this game, right, Rex?
That's right. Don't back off now. It's because you got a little 2-run lead, and that lead against this Orioles team is not a big lead.
Siriaco does go, and the throw is offline, and Pedro has his second steal of the year.
That's right. Get him in the scoring position now. See if Aoki can pick him up. Really good takeaway. Like how Siriaco stayed low in his first couple of steps. That's like a track runner who comes out of the blocks low, so he can build and get that good takeoff and get to maximum speed early.
Aoki has already scored a couple of runs, and you know the Royals, great success when he scores. They're 14-2 this year. Now he wants to knock in a run.
You know, getting back to that slide, you talk about taking off low. If you're going to slide head first, slide low. Don't take off. Remember, I saw some pictures of Pete Rose sliding head first. He was about 3 feet off the ground. That's a good way to get hurt. And you also slow yourself down doing that.
I would agree.
But just go in real low, and your likelihood of getting hurt far less. Slide low.
Take for example that nice slide by Alex Gordon on that ball. You know, when they got overturned. He stayed low. He went right into the base directly. Kept his fingers up. Didn't get him jammed.
Again fouled off the left side. Pete Rose went into bases like a train wreck, like a blitzing linebacker.
But he always kind of leaped.
Yes.
And came down rather than be low and slide low. So, well, he could even been a little bit lower in his takeoff. But he got the landing gear down in pretty good shape.
There you go.
You slide lower, you get there quicker. If you slide high, it takes a while to reduce your altitude.
Yeah, I always, whenever the play was going to be close, I wanted to go feet first and start my slide late, so I got there quicker. Alex, it worked for him, and he's hot today. Let's see if they can somehow try to pick up a run. David Lowe throws pretty well in left field. Markakis has a nice arm in right.
Aoki chases a ball in the dirt.
That wasn't the best swing of the day.
What do you think of Aoki and his style? And you know, it's obviously different than, it's not as conventional as American ball players, but it's a lot different than what we're used to seeing.
I'd say so. Yeah, he took a funky swing the other night, and I said on radio, it looked like a guy falling out of a canoe.
That's beautiful.
Trying to catch his balance, and whoop.
It did. I mean,
it was that emergency hack. It was right on his hands.
Exactly.
Rex, is it because you played in Japan? Is it because they are more of a breaking ball league over there than here?
Yeah, they're used to falling out and hitting the ball to left field there because a lot of off-speed pitches go away, but that's a key walk. Yeah, brings Escobar to the plate with a chance to clear him off with a double.
Esky had kind of a tough at bat his last time up. I got a feeling he might make up for it on this at bat.
He is 0 for 3, grounding out to the pitcher, popping up to second base and striking out swinging, as Danny said last at bat against Jimenez. But Ubaldo only going 5 today after pitching brilliantly in his last 3 starts, allowing just a run in 19 2/3 innings, and then held the Royals down to just 1 run in the first 3, and then gave up a run in the 4th and the 3-run home run by Alex Gordon in the 5th. So out comes veteran pitching coach Dave Wallace to visit with young pitcher Brad Brock, who was just called up from the minor leagues on May 2nd. He had a 4.85 ERA in 12 games for AAA Norfolk. This is our Ram drive of the game, and Denny, if you'll take a look at Alex's swing.
Yeah, that's solid. You can tell by the sound, can't you?
Yeah, it gets loud.
Yeah. Hitter can tell by the sound, by the feel. You square one up, you hardly even feel the bat. You hit one off the end of the bat, your hands vibrate for 2 hours.
Hitter knows before anybody else.
You bet.
Pitcher's the second one to know if the ball is gone.
The catcher has a pretty good clue, too.
He does, and I've heard some catchers say that their ears will ring for a half an inning when it's loud back there. That contact sound.
And they also erase bad memories in the offense, because Aoki had already walked, and the next 2 batters unable to advance him, Escobar and Hosmer. And Butler singles, and Gordon goes deep, and you forget about those 2 strikeouts. Gordon wiped him away with 1 swing, and it's 5-3 KC.
And that was with 2 outs. Maybe it can happen here, even 1 run.
And I wonder if Dave Wallace told him, your breaking ball's working better than your fastball, because Escobar's seen a lot of breakers.
Yeah,
Brad Brock.
Yeah, no question. He's making Escobar try to swing off the plate. Now 1 and 2, he's going to give another one. And if he doesn't get Escobar, I'm sure Showalter will go to the lefty in the bullpen for Hosmer.
Brock has walked 2.
Sometimes when a catcher goes out there like that, that's just to tell him what pitch to throw on that particular pitch. Wait, the catcher doesn't even have to put down any signs. And whatever he puts down is all just to show.
Well, good velocity on the fastball, barely missed outside. 2-2 count.
There's a series of signs. Runner at second.
Now the runners get to go.
Whitey Herzog told me about a catcher. He was with the Mets as their farm director. There was a catcher named Choo-Choo Coleman. You remember that name? And he said Choo-Choo Coleman would put a sign down, let's say 2, and they'd look down to see what sign he put on. Said, now I want to say his attention span wasn't too good. I said, you're kidding. He said, nope. He said, I watched him for a long time.
Slow roller to J.J. Hardy, up with it quickly, and Escobar is out.
Great dig by Davis.
Well, James Shields will be coming back out, and he has received some terrific defense from Gordon and Escobar today. We'll be right back.
in the game. It's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. James Shields, in his last outing against the Rockies, Salvador asked him for the ball. He said, "What for?"
Yeah, I like that ball.
He liked it.
With it.
Well, Salvi was reading saying where James Shields is 1,500 strikeouts. So James Shields promptly backs off the mound and tips his cap to the crowd. Denny, how many times have you seen a pitcher as intense as that guy do something like that?
Not very often, but that just kind of underlines and confirms the concentration that he has when he's out there. What's wrong with that baseball? I kind of like the feel of it. Now, why do you want it?
Yeah.
Well, it's your 1,500 strikeout. You might want to put that in your trophy case.
And also talks about Salvador Perez and how attention to the moment he is, and how that kind of focus for a young catcher to be aware of such situations like that really elevates Salvi even more.
Yeah, we don't see Salvi put down a sign and then take a peek, do we?
No, not at all.
He is not Choo-Choo Coleman.
But then who is?
Exactly. Here is James Shields beginning his 7th inning of work with a 5-3 lead.
To you, that would be Clarence Choo-Choo Coleman.
Okay. Because I never had a chance to make his acquaintance.
Nor did I.
So I have to go with the familiar name. Here is the 1-0 pitch, and Markakis takes it outside. 2 balls, no strikes. James has completed 6 innings in 22 of his last 24 starts, including today. He'd love to get Markakis, a dangerous leadoff batter, out. But 3-0 now. Shields is at 88 pitches.
Rex, this tie that Lefevre loaned me,
Right.
What do you think, Fizz? Give me a date on this tie. You think it's real old or
How
pretty
about a
new?
price, $1.99?
Well, that too. I was going to bring that up later after we figured out what year it was.
Well, it's thin. You know, I heard that, you know, thin ties were worn back in the day more than the thicker ties now, but that's a combination. I think that looks like it could be 50s. Maybe his dad gave him that one.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's got a secret message on it inside.
Maybe that was his dad's.
Apartment 9.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I've never heard of an Apartment 9 tie.
I think he bought it at the Mulebach.
Ballpark or hotel?
Exactly.
James hasn't rolled up a double play yet today. He's due for one.
Again, it seems like it's an effort to get that ball down. Nothing going on in the Royals bullpen. Machado has grounded out, hit a sacrifice fly to knock in his 2nd run of the year, and singled to left. Line drive over the head of Siriaco into right field. 2 on with nobody out. So Denny, looks like James Shields is going to have to make the adjustment again. You're still taking a look at that tie.
I'm amazed by it. Aren't you? Come on, be honest.
It's Bag Ryan Lefevre's tie day.
Yeah, Apartment 9 tie.
Interesting.
Isn't that neat?
Ryan went out this morning looking for a thin tie to be part of the dress to the nines because he wanted to look like the way they dressed back in the 1920s. Successful, I think.
I think so.
And what your thoughts on Rex Hudler's attire?
Now, why you got to go there?
Well, I was going to ask him if I get a table for 4 tonight.
Fizz told me earlier that I'd look pretty good in a coffin like this, all dressed up and everything nice. And I said, Fizz, you know what? You're right.
That's a cold comment. Well, my theory is confirmed. Some guys look good in anything.
That's right. There you go.
Dangerous batter up in Adam Jones, who drove in 108 runs last year. Strike in there, 1-1.
You know, both you guys look pretty sharp.
Dressed to the nines. Good idea, huh? All those fedora caps out there, hats.
See all those old time black and white photos of people at ballparks in the 20s and 30s, and everybody's got a hat.
And everybody was dressed nice back then.
Ties, coats, yeah. And very few women in those pictures, which then Bill Veeck thought of Ladies' Day, and that changed all that.
Fouled off. My mom was raised in Kansas City, and her dad, my grandfather Howard, loved the New York Yankees, worked in downtown. So she would take my mom to the ball game and said, whatever you do, just be quiet. As long as you don't talk, we'll continue to bring you. And he and his engineer friends would keep score of the game. And I asked her one time, I said, you know, I'm reading this great book, The Summer of '49, about Joe DiMaggio, where he kicked second base after a guy made a great catch in left field. And she goes, I was there. I was at that game. Wow. Well, Jones swings and misses, and a huge strikeout for James Shields here in the 7th inning.
He just challenged him. That ball is right down the middle. Jones pulled off of it, tried to do too much with it. That's a ball that should have been hit somewhere, and he pulled that head off.
You know, there are always huge moments in a game. Sometimes they're in the 1st inning, sometimes they're in the 9th inning. And for James Shields, it might be right now. Tying runs on. Great power hitter at the plate, Chris Davis, but he knocks one to Hosmer, who will go back to the bag, record the 2nd out. The runners do advance. Now a single could tie the game, with Nelson Cruz coming up, who leads the team in RBIs.
You know, guys, you think back on this series, Adam Jones, their number 3 hitter, Chris Davis, their number 4 hitter, really haven't done much at all. Royals have handled them very well.
Yeah, Jones has 4 hits in 16 at bats, but they haven't done much damage.
No. Davis had the home run, but it was just a solo. Made 3-1, 4-1. So that really wasn't a factor.
Baltimore so far this year in 6 games is 1-5 on Sundays. So they haven't had a lot of luck on Sundays, and they want to keep it that way. And if they want to do it, James Shields has got to be careful again with Nelson Cruz with a couple guys on.
This could be the key to the game right here.
I agree.
Ball 1.
Even though there's a few innings left, when this guy comes up, tremendous raw power at all fields.
He is 4 for 20 in his career against James. And he pops it up. Lorenzo Cain battling the sun. Pulls it down, and Shields with 7 terrific innings of work.
best Royals seats in the house. Tickets for Less has crowns, Diamond Club, and the best dugout seats of all Royals games. Guys, ticketsforless.com is your trusted source for all Royals tickets. This year, Tickets for Less is celebrating 10 years of local ownership. Check out ticketsforless.com, and you too can sit in the best seats at Kauffman Stadium. We pick up the action here in the bottom of the 7th. And guys, just bumped into Denny Matthews. He is very proud of that Apartment 9 tie, wearing it with pride. And I was thinking about his comment regarding Rex, as we see Troy Patton in there. It's kind of like that line you use, Hud. Waiter, check, please.
And tonight, or this afternoon, Joel, I'm hoping that happens again. We see Wade Davis coming in next inning.
Wade Davis had been warming and the end of that top of the 7th. And here is Eric Hosmer, who has had a rough homestand. We talked about that. Just 2 hits and 23 at bats, and struck out looking last time up. But the next batter, Butler, would single, and then Alex Gordon would come up and hit a 3-run home run.
A lot of breaking balls from Patton to Hosmer.
And Ryan has his tie back.
Yeah, Denny gave it back to him.
Well, that's great teamwork. Ryan was having fun because he took a look at the shot that we had of Denny with the tie, trying to get it over his microphone cable. Eric takes it low, and a good start to the bottom of the 7th with a walk. 4th walk by the Royals today. And as promised earlier, fans, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Jennifer, the picture of friends and family, Royals fans all dressed in blue on a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Yes, thank you for participating and sending it in.
The Royals would love to get insurance for their bullpen. They currently lead 5-3, trying to get back over 500. KC at 21-21. They started the day 7 games back of sizzling Detroit. The Tigers have won 5 in a row and 10 straight road games. They mopped up on the Orioles earlier this week. 3-game sweep.
They'll fall out of their tree. They'll come home. There's plenty of season. You can't stay that hot.
Well, percentage-wise, they have the best record in baseball at 26-12. The A's are at 27-16. The Milwaukee Brewers are at 27-16 also, and the Giants with a 27-17 record. Butler with a drive. That's deep to left center. And that ball will make it up against the wall, and Hosmer races to third. They'll hold him there. A double for Billy.
A nice 405-foot poke by Billy Butler. Couldn't quite get it up high enough to get it over the wall, but with nobody out, that's second and third. That's his 3rd hit of the game. We talked about it in the pregame show. In order to get some backspin on it, you got to come down like you're chopping wood and get something going instead of that lift. There it is. He's coming right down through the ball. He's got a real good path. Hips opened up. And there she goes. Backspin is a beautiful thing when you want to get that ball elevated because it carries.
Now Alex Gordon.
That's Billy's first 3-hit game of the season.
And Alex Gordon could have a huge day. His career high for RBIs in a game is 4. He's done that 6 times. Last was last July against Cleveland. He has 3 in this game with that 3-run home run last at bat. 3 for 3 in the day. And with RBI number 4 staring him in the face with nobody out. Hosmer at third and then Butler at second. Alex takes the first pitch, breaking ball, ball 1.
Alex stepping up, saying all aboard. I'm going to carry you guys today. 3 for 3. Why stop now?
Another drive to right. Back goes Markakis. What a day for Alex Gordon.
Mercy, have a day. That's beautiful swing. And that one took a drink.
Maybe he is reincarnating Josh Gibson today.
Oh, man, that's worthy of a curtain call. As little as runs that they've scored lately, you got one guy saying all aboard, 4 for 4. That little breaking ball was going to go swimming. As talk about some backspin, the first home run had topspin. This one had backspin. And that's right, the crowd knows it. That's worthy of a curtain call. Come on out of there, Alex. There it is. Give it up for the people.
A career high 6 RBIs. And he just recorded his 3rd career multi-home run game. Man, oh man.
I mean, he was already in the driver's seat, but that curtain call puts him in a great category. To knock in 6 runs and to be the guy stepping up.
Salvador Perez to right field. Markakis will make the catch. And Gordon also with his 10th 4-hit game. That's ties a career high. 6 RBI, 6 of the 8. Oh, man. And this is a day, we told you, Rex, remember the 1929 Baltimore Black Sox were the American Negro League champions with a 49-21 record. The 1929 Kansas City Monarchs were the Negro National League champions at 62-17. But there was no agreement to play a championship game between the 2 league winners in 1929. And Kurt Nelson, our director of the Royals Hall of Fame, said maybe that's what this game should be about. Deciding that title. As safe at first base is Kane.
Those 6 RBIs tied his teammate Infante on April 27th against the Orioles with 6 RBIs that Infante had. That's a beautiful day.
Bunch of records be broken. Buck Showalter coming out, and he may want to debate the call at first base, thinking that Kane was out. Ooh, they got a good debate. The ball must touch the glove.
And Lorenzo Cain, he's not happy. He's coming off of that base there thinking, man, they're going to take a hit away from me. But he can smile now.
He's been taking a lot of hits away from guys trying to get doubles in the gaps.
With a 5-run lead, he can smile. James Shields receiving some well-deserved run support. And you know, Alex Gordon, when they got Aoki, a leadoff hitter, and Infante, they moved Alex down thinking that he would be the power bat that they were looking for. And it just hadn't happened early. But it's early in the season. So Alex finds that home run stroke, and that's a beautiful thing for Ned Yost in that lineup.
And now with Billy Butler, 3 hits today. Alex Gordon, and as Billy told you yesterday, I think I found something.
Yep, and I agreed with him because I watched his last 5 swings coming out of that batting cage, and he had that good backspin on some of those balls, and I looked at him, I said, Billy, those last 5, that was it. And he goes, I think I found it. So sometimes that's all it takes, is just that memory. That muscle memory that these guys work on every single day. It just clicks sometimes. And that's how fast it can happen in this game.
Because Rex, now they have made the call and Lorenzo Cain is out. So it will go 6-3 on the putout, and Mike Moustakas will come to the plate with nobody on. The official ruling overturned the infield hit call and the ground out. So Showalter got what he wanted. And as you said, Rex, the offense is too good to be this quiet for so long. And Ned Yost told us they've had the entire lineup quiet. And obviously only scoring 5 runs the previous 4 games, but just breaking out and getting 8 runs on a day that a hot pitcher, Ubaldo Jimenez, pitched. You never know when a team's going to find their mark and begin a hot streak.
No, and they're 21-21. Pretty good mark for not having any offense at all. I will tell you, that pitching's been carried but supported here today.
They finished last year 11th in runs scored at 4 per game, and they came in averaging 3.8 in this one, which was second to last, but more experience out there. Another year of Perez, another year of Hosmer, another year of Moustakas. In there to Mike. Counts full 3-2. And we all figured that Hosmer could go up from 17, Perez up from 13, Butler up from 15. That's in the home run department. Ground ball third. And Moustakas is out, but Gordon with another goner. His second home run of the day.
All aboard! Alex says, I'll carry you with the glove and the bat.
Some dollars today. It is Alex Gordon 6 and the Orioles 3. 8-3 the score overall as Panera takes us around the league. And Oakland outscored Cleveland in their series 30-6. All A's. Houston all over the White Sox. Seattle 5-2 leading Minnesota right now behind Michael Saunders. Detroit playing tonight. Anibal Sanchez coming off of the disabled list. Let's go to Houston and take a look at another player that had multiple home runs in a game. Matt Dominguez going deep not once but twice. So a tough game there for the White Sox as they're trying to come back, and they'll come to town, as Fizz mentioned before, without the services of the American League home run leader Jose Abreu, who just went on the DL.
And Joel, that Chicago White Sox matchup will have Scott Carroll, Andre Rienzo, and Jose Quintana and you go, we don't have to face Chris Sale, who's still out on a rehab assignment. Chris Sale had a rehab game the other day, Rex. He struck out 11 in 4 innings.
Yeah, no, that's another good break there. They miss him. But it's time for Kansas City to start upping their mark in their own division. They're just 5-13 against the Central. They need to start getting some W's against them. Now Herrera, he's got a great look today. His blue glove matches his blue shoes, and that Monarch uniform, he gets an A for style.
Well, he had an outstanding outing on Thursday as he worked out of an inherited jam in the 8th, fanning Chris Davis and Nelson Cruz, then inducing a grounder from Steve Clevenger to strand a pair. He's really looked good lately. He has not been charged with a run over his last 11 outings, and that covers 11 1/3 innings. So his ERA right now at 1.4. This is away at 99 miles an hour. Man, at 5'10", that ball just explodes out of his hand. By the way, the Royals will counter again that Chicago series with Vargas, Ventura, and Guthrie. Out of play.
Okay, the Royals bullpen was a little bit shaky early in the first month, but they're starting to find their groove. Everybody's finding their slots, and just like our Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery talked about during that month of April, it takes some time to get that bullpen situated in a certain order.
Base hit up the middle for Clevenger.
And they've answered so far in the last 25 innings without an earned run from the bullpen.
Well, the one Baltimore Oriole that the Royals have not been able to solve today is coming up. J.J. Hardy, 3 for 3, a pair of singles, a double. He's upped his average to 2.73. In there, strike one. The Royals won only 8 games last May. If they win today, they'll have won 8 this month. In there. So Hardy down in the count, 0-2.
You want a Hundy? You got it. 100 miles an hour.
Hardy sends it to Escobar. He will touch second, go to first. That's a nifty 6-3 double play.
And that ball that Escobar threw over to Hosmer might have been 90 miles an hour. He really loaded up. And shortstops that take that play on their own, they're starting their throw as that left foot touches the base. So see, watch him. He's going to wind up and start throwing, and then it allows him to get up over the sliding runner. And Hosmer, he better check the webbing in his glove.
Threw a dart over there, didn't he?
Yeah, look at Hosmer. He's going, wow.
Here comes David Lowe, who is 1 for 3 in the game, a single back in the 3rd inning. Since that time, he grounded out and robbed of an opportunity to continue his bat on yet another terrific play by Alex Gordon, where he crashed into the wall in foul territory.
This Royals defense is one of the best in baseball, and that's going to bode well as it complements the pitching that's already strong. Starters, relievers, defense, and once they start hitting like they have today, wow, they're going to start moving up and hopefully can distance themselves from that 500 mark. And I mentioned Alex Gordon. He's our Honda most trusted player. Tremendous play. This was this afternoon. I mean, it looked like he kissed that wall, but he turned his head just in time. He knew exactly where he was, and James Shields applauded that, and so did the rest of the K here.
You know, Denny was talking about Alex being injured early in his career when he was a third baseman. We have an outstanding strength and conditioning coach at Ryan Stoneberg, and Ryan said Alex has really matured, understanding his body, and he said knowing how much work he needs to get in during the season. And Rex, He said that sometimes Alex only will come in and do 15 minutes of work when he knows he's fatigued during the year, but he gets great work. And right now, the Royals getting great work from their bullpen and Kelvin Herrera. Ram Trucks, Guts and Glory. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. They're the best. And there's a look at the Field of Legends. Walk onto the field adorned by nearly life-size bronze statues of 12 greats from the Negro Leagues, including Josh Gibson and Buck Leonard. And remember to keep bidding on the Monarchs and Black Sox jerseys that are being worn by the Royals and Orioles today. It will go on until the end of the week. All proceeds of this auction go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Go to Royals.com/NLBM to check out these game-worn and autographed jerseys. Pedro Siriaco, the batter, as we have a new pitcher in Ryan Webb, a 6'6" right-hander out of Clearwater, Florida. 2-0 record, 3.78 ERA, and Buck Showalter really feels like this is a young man who can fill the role, the setup role in the future. Siriaco 0 for 3. Billy Butler and Alex Gordon came into this afternoon's game a little quiet offensively on this homestand, but man, they erupted today. Billy with 3 hits, 2 singles and a double, and of course Alex Gordon 4 for 4, including 2 3-run home runs.
Woo-hoo. A much needed commodity for the pitching staff, and James Shields in particular, who's the proud recipient of those runs.
Webb with 16 strikeouts and 16 2/3 has fallen behind Siriaco and then gets a strike across, a full count. Comes from a baseball family, as we take a look at Alex Gordon, who also comes from a baseball family. His dad coached 4 boys growing up. Stays 3-2. And Ryan Webb's dad, Hank, pitched for the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 53 games in the bigs. 7-9 record. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Siriaco, Aoki, and Escobar. Baltimore won the first 2 games of this series by scores of 2-1 and 4-0, but the Royals won last night 1-0 and leading this one 8-3. Pretty good duel between Webb and Siriaco. The next pitch will be the 9th in this at bat.
Yeah, I gotta love that. Siriaco, he's saying, man, I want to somehow find a way to get in the back of that lineup again. I'm liking it.
Foul back.
Webb, he's got that good sinking, cutting, hard fastball, 90-94, curveball, and a changeup. He's working every one of them here to try to get Siriaco out. You know, with that kind of cushion and with a 5-run lead, that you can breathe a little bit. There was hardly anyone that witnessed that great game last night that could breathe at all. Now, after the game was over, you could breathe, but man, was it an intense battle with Holland loading them up and then striking out the side like that, or striking out the last batter was a beautiful sight.
And we were on the edge of our seats for 6 2/3 innings with Duffy throwing a perfect game.
Right, it was a nail-biting game, but 5 runs is a beautiful cushion today, and that man's proud of not only his daughter, he got him a ball, but that Alex Gordon Gold Glove T-shirt he's wearing.
Right now, the 12th pitch between Webb and Siriaco, and he takes a called strike 3.
That little wrinkle, it froze him.
So the Royals will go with their defense in the top of the 9th inning as they're having Gerard Dyson bat for Aoki here in the 8th. So Dyson likely to take center field and move Kane to right. He pulls it to the right side. Foul. So Dyson taking over for Aoki last inning in the field, now gets his first opportunity to hit. In there with a strike. It's 0-2.
And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of this now. Ned bringing in his defenders late, Dyson, and moving Kane over to right field. And it's nothing to do with Aoki's fielding ability. It's more about the speed. And those guys can get to a few more balls.
A chopper to second base. Scope will handle Dyson, and there's 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. But this has been a mighty proud afternoon. We told you we were honoring the Negro Leagues as the Royals were wearing the Kansas City Monarchs uniforms from 1924. That was the year the Monarchs won their first World Series, and the Baltimore Orioles were wearing the 1929 Baltimore Black Sox uniforms, who were the American Negro League champions that season. But the Monarchs, really the most storied Negro League team when you consider they put more players into the major leagues than any other team. Finally, they were disbanded in 1965. Here is Alcides Escobar. He's 0 for 4. Baltimore with 3 runs on 10 hits. The Royals with 8 runs on 10 hits. Birds came in with 35 home runs. The Royals only 18, but Gordon belted 2. The O's hit none. And it's 8-3 KC. Strike, 2-1. Escobar tries to drop it into center field, and it will. Perfectly placed beyond the shortstop in front of the center fielder.
That's a definition of a doinker right there. And you'll take him. Every hitter that ever played this game, they may not be pretty hits, but they're a knock in the book tomorrow. And that box score. Doinker, bleeder, dying quail. There's a lot of terms hitters have used for those over the years.
They chase Escobar back, watching him defensively. If you fans will go to visit the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum off 18th and Fine District, and you take a look at that field of legends, one of the statues is of one of the greatest shortstops of all time, a guy by the name of Judy Johnson. And Escobar looked like him today. There's a ground ball short. Hosmer is out. Royals offense done in the 8th. And Aaron Crow will come out of the KC pen and try and keep the O's quiet.
Crow has been perfect this year. Hope he stays that way.
Gordon getting it done today, and we will be talking about that on Boulevard Royals Live when this one was over. For the second straight Sunday, the Royals with a couple of big home runs. In Seattle, it was a grand slam and a 3-run homer. Today, a pair of 3-run shots for Alex Gordon. We'll hear from him, Ned Yost, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live with Jeff Montgomery after the game. And just saw this note, guys, that Gordon is the 5th player in team history with 2 or more homers, 6 or more RBIs, 3 or more runs, and 4 or more hits in a game, joining Willie Wilson, UL Washington, George Brett, Kevin Seitzer, and now Alex Gordon on that list.
That is sweet, man. And, you know, his home runs gave the Royals the lead and then added to the lead. So very dramatic today. And now Aaron Crow comes out of the bullpen, and he has been outstanding. He is the only major league pitcher to work at least 15 innings this year without an earned run allowed.
He's not the only one. He's got some buddies out there in that bullpen that have all been answering that call when they call for him.
Jonathan Scope, the batter, and Crow misses inside, so falls behind 3 balls and no strikes.
Last 21 games, ooh, man, being very stingy as far as giving up those earned runs. Look at that ERA. Those guys are nails, and that's one of the reasons that the Royals will do so well with the lead after the 6th inning. They've got guys that can bridge the gap to get it to Holland.
And for Aaron, Thursday's outing against Baltimore, where he worked a 1-2-3 ninth in the Birds' 2-1 victory, that was his 19th consecutive with no earned runs allowed, surpassing Lewis Coleman's franchise mark from a year ago. And dating back to last year, Aaron has worked in 21 straight games since allowing an earned run on September 6th against Detroit.
And in
now
this,
he faces Markakis and finds the strike zone.
But this is a bullpen era that we're in baseball, and it's a premium on those guys. And Ned has a whole pen of them, not just one or two. It's not just Crow.
Fouled off. I remember having a conversation with the Angels' Mike Scioscia about that, as you see Markakis taken care of by Alex Gordon. And Mike Scioscia said he had talked to his scouts, and he said, you know, a lot of teams have, let's say, 5 guys in the minor leagues who throw 95 to 100 miles an hour with any kind of consistency. And he said the Royals have 10. Now, this was about 3 years ago, and those guys up now, arms like Herrera. And they were able to acquire Wade Davis, Greg Holland with that power arm, Aaron Crow with that power arm.
But those guys that Scioscia was talking about 3 years ago are much more mature now. They're not just power guys anymore. Crow is finding success by taking stuff off of his pitch at 92. That low in the strike zone right there has brought him outs. And it's not about blowing guys away. And that's typically what young pitchers that throw hard do when they get to the big leagues. It's a macho thing.
Aaron, with so much movement on his sinker slider, when he keeps it down, he gets a lot of ground ball outs, and he'd love to get one here and have a double play in this game. Ground ball, base hit through the whole right side. Stopping at second base is Scope. So Manny Machado with a base hit to right. Adam Jones takes ball 1. Jones 1 for 4 today with a couple of strikeouts. Greg Holland is starting to warm up just in case. Royals currently lead by 5, 1 out in the 9th inning.
Kansas City pitchers have held Baltimore to 3 runs or fewer in each of their last 10 meetings, including today. And this is a good, solid offense.
And Aaron really struggling with his command in this one. Now has a 3-1 count against a dangerous batter in Adam Jones. And you're right, Rex. Last year the Orioles finished 5th in the American League in runs scored at 4.7, but they were number 1 in home runs with 212. So the Royals have been able, for the most part, to keep that power down in this series.
And that visit by Salvi is almost like Dave Island coming out. And he sensed something. He said, hey, look, let's get down in the strike zone. He's going to hit into a double play right here.
A drive to right. Kane has a long way to go, and it is gone. A 3-run home run by Adam Jones, and Crow's streak of no earned runs allowed ends at 21.
He just couldn't get it where he wanted to. Now, that's a heck of a power stroke there to the opposite field by Jones. Four-seamer right down the middle. It didn't have the movement that Salvi was looking for, and that is a well struck ball.
And Ned Yost is not waiting any longer, as he will immediately go to Greg Holland and close this thing out, as Crow gives up a 3-run home run, and now you're staring in the face of that Alex Gordon's second 3-run home run. That was awfully big.
Pretty impressive by Crow, though, to go to May 18th to give up your first earned run.
Rex Hudler said it wouldn't last forever, and it did not, because a 3-run home run by Adam Jones knocks him out of the game, and the Royals going to Greg Holland to close out the 9th. Monarchs lead it 8-6 over the Baltimore Black Sox, and Chris Davis, the batter, he takes strike one. Now, Greg closed out a 1-0 game last night by fanning the side, though it wasn't easy. A walk to Nick Markakis and a Manny Machado single put runners in the corners with 1 out. Davis walked, but Cruz struck out, and now Davis well behind the count, 0-2. Holland with the 0-2 pitch. Foul back. Davis 0 for 3, all 3 times grounding out. Twice to Eric Hosmer, and the other time to the second baseman Pedro Siriaco, and the Royals have 3 defenders on the right side, including Siriaco in shallow right. Grounder, Hosmer, he has it, and he will come back to the bag for out number 2. Let's go to Joel.
Fizz down here waiting for this one to wrap up. Looked up because I know that Greg Holland's parents are here. They drove in earlier in this homestand from Carolina. And interesting, I don't know how if this is nerves or not. That's Scott and his mom Kim. They're driving back to Carolina tomorrow, and right as Greg came in, Scott headed upstairs. I don't know how the nerves are, but he's back out there ready for the last
Well,
time.
you know, Joel, that we text during the game sometimes. His dad will send me a text, and he said that his wife Kim had a really difficult time getting over last night.
And, you know, it's really funny because, Joel, Greg Holland seems to have ice in his veins. Nothing seems to bother him.
Oh, but it bothered everybody else. But how about the passion of that? Look at Hayes. What a great job Hayes did. That was one nerve-wracking game.
Nelson Cruz rolls one to Hosmer. He goes 3-1. Game over. Scott Holland, congratulations, as your son just nailed down a save. Number 12 for Greg.
And it was not a nervous save. Alex Gordon.
How about this? Because the Royals won the season series, and it's the first time, Rex, they've done that in back-to-back seasons since 77, 78. And the guy that got the W for them, Alex Gordon, number 4, who drove in a career-high 6 runs with 2 3-run home runs today. A W for the Kansas City Monarchs. So now we know that they are the champions. The Kansas City Monarchs over the Baltimore Black Sox. We always wondered why they never played that title game in 1929. There's no agreement between the two leagues, so we'll hand that championship over to the Monarchs. Let's go to Joel.
Fizz, thank you. Joined right now by Alex Gordon, a career-high 6 RBI day. You had the ovation earlier and the curtain call. I want to ask you what that is like, to have that curtain call and come out to the crowd.
I don't know, it was my first one, so it was pretty special. Hopefully I can do it again sometime.
Well, 2 home runs. Now, your previous high for RBIs was 4. You had that 7 times. But let me talk first about that first home run. You've seen Ubaldo Jimenez many times in your career, so what are you thinking there?
You know, I just got in a situation with runners on, and the guys did a good job of, you know, getting on base. And, you know, I haven't been swinging it well lately, but, you know, every day is a new day. So today was a good one, and Ubaldo's a tough pitcher. He's always, you know, pitched well against me and just got a good pitch to hit and didn't miss it.
And then the second one definitely didn't miss that either. How about that one?
Well, once again, guys getting on base in front of me, and, you know, that's what happens. Pitchers got to come to you, and that's what happened. I didn't miss my pitch.
Oh, you played that off pretty well, huh?
I played that. I've done this a few times.
Get that new suit on.
Go ahead. It's not a new suit. Let me tell you how that works. It kind of goes like this. Salvi stands back there and goes, shh, shh, over and over again, and he's giving me, like, time cues. And you're the only one that didn't know it. How'd that feel?
Well, we've been playing in cold weather, so it's kind of nice. It's been a little bit hotter out today, so that felt pretty good.
I don't remember what you were saying about the second home run, but how about the offense overall, too? You guys have been talking about it's a matter of time it's going to get going. To see Billy have 3 hits, you have 4 hits, middle of that lineup, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're staying positive. You know, this is a hard game. Sometimes you're going to go through struggles like that, but as long as we stay together and, you know, get out of it together, we're going to be okay. So, you know, we got great defense, great pitching, and I think our offense is going to come around. And, you know, today's just one day, and hopefully we can carry it over.
Last thing, that wall over there in left field on the side, it's been taking a beating this year, has it not?
No, I've been taking a beating. You know, it's my job to go catch fly balls, and I know the pitchers enjoy it. So whatever I can do to, you know, help out this team, you know, I'm happy to do it.
Career day, way to go, Alex.
All right, thank you.
Alex Gordon, and another huge ovation, well-deserved, and the ice bath from Salvador Perez and Danny Duffy. Fizz?
It was a beautiful day at the K. The Monarchs and the Black Sox, and Kansas City with a win, getting 6 RBIs from Alex Gordon and a victory.